Kia ora and welcome this afternoon. We've got more coverage of the Ruben Wiki Cup, the 20s competition here, brought to you by New Zealand Rugby League and through Sky Sport. A warm welcome to Waitakere Stadium out in West Auckland. And it's a beautiful day after some pretty tough weather that's come through the city of Sails after the last few days. Great to have you along too. Hope you enjoyed the earlier games with our wahine. And great to have Lavinia Jules calling the action. Well, there it is, a cloudless sort of a sky. Bit of wind around here this afternoon, which will be a bit of a challenge for both these squads. And it's the Stingrays lining up against the Stallions. Here's the Upper Central squad. Gardner Hunnell was really strong in the first game that we called Wairangi Kōpū against Waikato. They've got some strike power, but they'll be wanting it all to come together here this afternoon after not being able to go with the South Island a week ago. Good to have you in the chair too, Wairangi. What are you looking forward to most, mate?
Tēnā koe. Te o tira tēnā tātou katoa. Yeah, it'll be a fantastic game between these two teams. Like you said, some big efforts from all of these squads throughout this Ruben Wiki Cup over the last couple of weeks. So it's been fantastic rugby league. And I'm sure Upper Central, despite taking a bit of a hiding from the South Island side last week, will be looking to rectify that up against a very strong Akarana side.
And the captain is Dana Bidwell. The coach is Rob Tangahui.
Well, Rob, how's the build-up gone this week?
Oh, pretty, not too bad actually. Due to the weather restrictions, like all our trips, a few roads are closed and it is what it is. We're under the pump at the moment, so, here we go.
What have you been working on with the team?
Just cohesion again. We've got a complete set. We failed to do that against South Island, so, we're coming up against another strong mobile pack. We just got to complete up the middle.
What are you expecting from Counties Manukau today?
Speed, quick play the ball, brutes. They're big bodies as I was walking past them, and it'll be clinical. It'll be good.
Well, hoping for a great game. Good luck.
Too much. A big shout out to everyone back home. Hopefully all the weather and all the roads open up for us. Cheer.
Yeah, for sure. It's been tough down country, no doubt about that. There's the Trust Arena in the background there. This is the lineup for the Counties Manukau squad. 26 apiece last week against Akarana, so we know they can play. It was an exciting game, and I'm really looking forward to the efforts from Ben Penny up front. He was very strong in the Under-20 Pacifica Cup earlier today. Te Ariki Ford and Frank Banini Te will guide the ship around in 6 and 7. The coach is Sean Fitiangi.
Well, Sean, you had a terrific contest last week in a 26-all draw with Akarana. How's your team come through that game?
The team's come through really good. Made a few adjustments. I think we gave away too many penalties last week and we let Akarana back into the game, so it's something we're looking to fix this week.
And what are you looking for your team to deliver today?
It's the old cliche, mate. Forwards win games and backs determined by how much, so we're looking for our forwards to lead the platform and our halves to play off the back of it.
And what sort of game are you expecting this afternoon?
We're expecting an expensive game today, mate. Central's got a really fast team, so yeah, it's going to be a battle out there.
Well, we're hoping for a good one too. Good luck.
No worries, thanks, mate. Hey, can I just give a shout out to Ezekiel? He suffered a nasty injury on Monday night at training, so we lost him, and he's a major loss for the team. All the best, easy, speedy recovery, mate.
Thanks very much, mate.
Good to see Sean's with a long time involvement with the Manarewa Mums. He's just moved down to Te Kaufata actually, so hasn't got a commitment as such for this year, but he knows these players very well. Been a wind around here this afternoon, but other than that, the track's in great condition, and Rochelle Tamarua is in control of the action. The Stallions playing from your left to right. Welcome, and this is round 3 of the Wiki Cup Under-20 action, and it's going to be on Sky Sport as Counties Manukau have first dibs with the ball. A lot of players here out of the Otahuhu club, and we'll pick out 1 or 3 of them as we roll through here this afternoon. You've watched them in action as well, Wairangi, and some good work around the ruck. Ben Penn is one to watch out for, and this time it's a knock-on to the Central Stallions, who will appreciate the opportunity to get their hands on the ball at reasonably close range, 32 out from the try line.
Yes, indeed, yeah. I mean, a mistake on the first set for Counties, wouldn't be happy about that. They were wanting to build a platform right from the kickoff, and like you say, there's a fair hefty wind up here in Tamaki Makaurau today, and as you can see, those flags blowing about all over the place, so it'll be interesting to see which team tests out the fullback and the wingers early on. This was some high kicks because it was going to swirl around and really challenging for that back three.
They have the ball in hand. Now Raven Fetu is playing the halfback position today. Counties Manukau getting into their work defensively. Centre field, little drop off from Baker Tangahui. That's Hamiota, who is in 9 with the distinctive ginger hair, and play the ball from the skipper Bidwa. Now it's hit up time for Jericho York. He's easily accounted for. Still right on the 30-metre line. And they decide to try their hands down the left edge. Skipper Bidwa now to Mitchell Windsor. Put on some strong work last time I had the chance to call them, which was out of Davies Park. They had a big win over Waikato Mana. But last week, as we mentioned, weren't quite able to go with the South Island team. And they'll be part of the action tomorrow as the Waikato Mana here at the same venue. Kick-off time, Apopo at 2 p.m. 20 metres out from the try line, Baker Taingahui works to the right. Bidwa with a drop-off on the inside, and he's put away about 12 metres out from the try line. A good chance here for the Stallions if they can maintain momentum and keep their heads. Number 11 is Jericho York. Good opportunity here for the Wairangi.
Yeah, very good opportunity. Hard on the other counties stink. They're getting up on the upper central zone and just testing out our referee Rochelle Tamarua, seeing how much time they can get away with on the ground.
Well, Bidwa's been outstanding for the squad. Good leader, skipper out of the Pikau. Ngati Pikau is down at Rotorua, finding their way with the ball on the far side of the field. Close to the touchline is Mitchell Windsor. Little show and then rubber kick, which was quite nicely made, but in the end, a little knock on the ground. I think that's Taylor Papali'i. And so another good chance here for the Stallions.
A little bit clunky start from both sides. Obviously, is there a couple of penalties, a couple of knock-ons. So they've hard on D for this few minutes, but the upper central zone, you can automatically, we can see immediately that that wind is playing effect. A couple of those passes are just blowing behind them. They're going to have to be accurate with their deliveries today.
Raven Fetu played at fullback a couple of starts ago against Waikato. He's out of Tokoroa, so expect him to dish up some good ball as we get County Watson Toto. He's to ground. As you can see, there's the try line just in front of them. The track in great condition. No excuses today as Bidwa gets it across to Fetu. And he shows some good skill to go forward, but the referee, Tamarua, says that there was a hand in there. And another penalty going the way of the Stallions. They've had a glut of possession early on here, Wairangi.
Yeah, just a little overexcited. The Counties boys are getting off the line really fast and they're putting in some good wrestle. Fortunately, they just keep giving away penalties for a couple of silly mistakes as we see ball out the back of tackle one.
Taingahui, two of Rich's sons playing in this squad, which is made up of coastlines. Now that ball has drifted forward. No, the referee says it's okay. Oh, from this angle, I thought it was forward, but not so. It's the Stallions who score. Rawiri Matthews is in beside the posts. Great play from the Stallions. Took advantage of the possession that they had early on in the game and capitalised with that try from the second rower.
He has been one of their best the last couple of weeks. Rawiri Matthews, yes, really strong back rower, gets through a lot of work. I see, fantastic. You're always going to get in trouble a little bit when you float backwards and you can see just the pass. What's Otho, the big prop forward? I love seeing forwards join together and come up with ball plays like that, but hard to tell on that angle whether it floated forward or not.
Well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and it's Upper Central Stallions who are in to score through the second rower, Rawiri Matthews. And Matthews from the Tauranga Whalers actually played last year in the Waikawa Bay squad too, and a couple of years ago was running with the Warriors Junior Development team, so he's a player with obvious skill, and that time around took advantage of what was a decent ball close to the line. And a great little fillip early on here for the young squad from the Upper Central region. which is the Lions and the Bay of Plenty. They've all also got access to the Hauraki Rugby League. Gisborne, as we get another look.
Yeah. Every time it gets more forward every time I watch it, to be honest now. But look, you got to reward any big prop who wants the ball play, my friend. And I'm pretty sure that's what Rochelle Tomaru, our referee, thought too. Is why not?
Well, a lot of advantages to be gained for flat ball, isn't there? And it's something that a lot of players work out. They delay the opportunity. Well, that's obvious. The sou'wester would have assisted that. It's been blowing a gale around Tamaki for the last few days. And traditionally, the wind from the southwest that time around. That's another advantage here for the young fellas from down country.
Yeah, that is a bit of an indication of how strong that wind is behind the backs of the Stingrays. Good field advantage now for Upper Central Zone, and we've gone through 7 minutes of this first half, and Counties have had the ball for 3 tackles.
Yeah, so a big advantage. Well, and you can see the way that the bags are blowing across the other field. So the Stallions will have to take advantage of the fact that the wind is in their favour early on, but for the moment, things are looking pretty damn good for them. Here's another charge through as well as the big number makes his presence felt. Jericho York, 15 metres out from the try line. Here's Baker Taingahoea to Bidwar, shows it on the inside, not having a bar of it though. Bidwar does get a late offload as well, and Baker Taingahoea again is wrapped up and put away out from the try line. The skipper slides into dummy half. This is here for Counties Monaco. They won't want to be conceding a second try early in the game. There's a little kick through looking for the regain, but finally it'll be an opportunity for the Stingrays to get hold of the ball, and as Wairangi mentioned, they've had precious little pill in the early exchanges of this one.
Yeah, maybe a little bit early. I'm pretty sure that was tackle 3. The idea was there because Counties in the last set they were down here. They were flying off the line, the centre and the winger, try and put some pressure on that backline play, but in this instance, just couldn't the needle.
Should have benefited from showing a little more patience.
Yes.
Couldn't they? They possession, and now you get the feeling that there could be a situation where the momentum shifts. The wind behind the Stingrays, and they finally have some possession. Who's in defence for Upwell? Of course, the captain, who continues to really be a great leader and is doing his business with the front foot, no doubt about it. So the Stingrays finally have the ball and charging forward on the far side of the field. Good tackle made by Watson Doto. So they just need a sensible set here, Wairangi.
Yeah, indeed. They just need to sort of get through a set, build a little pressure. They've really been, I don't know if they've been down this end of the field as of yet, Counties, and I'm sure they want to get to their kick and then put some pressure on with their D.
That's the Lefi Sung Yum. He's playing in jersey number 1 out of your Tahu Prems from last year. So a number of these players have already played top grade football. The Stallions allow that ball to bounce, which is always risky business. And this time it's the Stingrays who are up very quickly to make the tackle inside the opposition 10. So some work here from the defensive spot, and the carry is from Temadi. That's Tala Temadi, and he pushes forward. And we'll be looking for some backup as well.
Yeah, good pressure on the kicker there. That's what you need, the opposition zone. Put some pressure on that kicker. Automatically looking for that high. You can tell straight away there is going to be some very nervous wingers and fullbacks with the swirling wind.
You get a feeling that Dana Bidwar needs a little more support. He's working his guts out both in attack and defence. He's a talent, but he can't keep it up for 80. He'll be relying on his teammates to shore up that D. He's first there once again, and there looks to be a bit of an issue here for the fullback. He claims a crusher tackle.
I'm not a fan of grabbing your neck and then getting up and laughing.
Elaborate. No, I'm the same. I'm absolutely the same, and here's the risk we run,
yes.
Isn't it?
You're playing for a penalty.
Well, we'd like to see some referees turn that penalty straight around and say, that's reserved for serious occasions.
Yeah.
And don't be flippant
It is
with your
very-
accusation.
It is very hard to police that sort of thing, but a lot of times just the onus is on the player. It's, I don't know. We come from an era where there was sort of some sort of etiquette.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. Well, those of you at home have your thoughts on that too. It's been filtering through the NRL, but I think slowly people are starting to realise it's not to be used as an opportunity to take a penalty. Certainly smiling as you get up is galling, isn't it? As we see some hot stepping down the left edge here from Pa'asili Ma. And now the Stallions are going to have to be on their game. They're up by 6, but this is danger time for them as Banini Temanu gets hold of it and is close to the try line. Dummy half work for Charlie Proctor, and it's that easy. He looked up, saw his chance, and he took it. And the Stallions needed to be more focused, more aware that the challenge was right upon them. And as it turned out, the hooker and acting half just took advantage and schooled them from close to the line. One of those tries that hookers love to score, and defending teams hate to have scored against them. But congratulations to him. He's a good player, and looking forward to some more good efforts from Johnny Proctor. He's over with the West Tigers. They've got their eyes on him, and he's formerly a centre, but he's very versatile. He's with the Marlins. Ex-Pukekohe Pythons player is Johnny Proctor. Obviously got good skills and saw his chance and took it.
You hit the nail on the head there, Dale. Just they're going to have to stay aware, for 70 minutes here, that central zone, the class that the County Stingrays have. It's going to shine through as the game goes on. And at that stage there, they just weren't on their toes. Better communication is needed, especially hard against their try line.
Well, surprisingly, that's close range. In the end, made it look pretty easy, and he was able to get under fair two. There's your number 7, making his way back, Tardy Ford. He's out of the Mangere East Hawks study. And he'll be wanting to do better off the kicking tee next time around. But this is a great competition, isn't it, Wairangi? Our young men and women have been starved of competition because of COVID. And of course, this week past, we acknowledged the anniversary, not something to celebrate so much, of the first lockdown. So it's been really irritating for all codes, including rugby league. And so, whatever you say, it feels like we're just finding our way out of it. And these young guys were able to get into a competition named in honour of one of your colleagues and many sports heroes. I'm waiting for the Wairangi Kopu Cup to emerge at some stage.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. NZRL, are you listening?
And I think the 16s is the Shaun Johnson Cup. So, yeah, two pretty prominent names in rugby league there. And, the Ruben Wiki Cup is obviously a Carver Cup.
That's a
made
cup
out
of
of
Carver.
coconut. Yeah.
Made of coconut, you reckon? Oh, gee, eh? Old Rube's still there with the Warriors. Good on them. It's a bit of a scrappy victory over the West Tigers last night, but hey, it's 2 points in the bag and we'll take that any day. Look at this weaving run down the right-hand side. Well, the Stallions are going to have to stay focused here. As Audi Matthews makes the tap. Building here, the Stingrays. And good chase. Getting Tufala at the back.
Yeah, needed to be in the right spot there. You can see straight away that was a massive first upset after the try for the Counties team. Under a lot of pressure down here now, upper central zone.
I often wonder about the name, the Stingrays, as how that came to be, but I did notice a report, sort of a 6-metre wide manta ray was spotted in one of our harbours.
Really?
Just enormous, isn't it? And so the Stingrays from Counties Monaco, I guess they've got opportunities in both harbours. This is a lovely little break. Have a look at this from Mitchell Windsor. Maybe ran himself out of options there, but certainly one man who was there was the skipper, Bidwar. He's now into acting half. Can they capitalise on the position they find themselves in? Here's a charge down and no one home. This should be easy meat. Well, I put the mocker on the young fella as well. The left who's Sang Yum. He's got a few of his mates in the stands too, and it's nice to hear some live support. Let's have a look at this. He'll have a look one day, show reel, and say, man, there was no one there. I could have towed it forward.
It just refused to bounce up for him. It was all over the place. Just could not get the bounce to get up. I suppose he was miles ahead of anybody else, and he had maybe had a little bit more time to try and collect that ball on the run. But yeah, just unfortunate not to get that bounce there. But you're right there. That was good to hear the crowd in the background. Obviously, the first day where there's no limits on outside events. So yeah, fantastic.
Whānau are able to come again.
Yes,
Isn't
yes,
that
indeed.
great? You know, it's been somewhat silent sport, hasn't it, over the last couple of years? So good to hear the cheers from whānau in the grandstands. And that was an opportunity that's gone big. And he could almost have made himself a cup of tea before picking it up. There's a round.
They're going to have to roll their sleeves up. Sorry, they're going to have to roll their sleeves up here a little bit. Mitchell Windsor ran into dummy half and straight away looked for a forward to have a carry, and there's no one there. They're a little bit behind the advantage line already, Upper Central, so they're going to have to pick it up a little bit.
Well, they don't have to look far for inspiration. The skipper has been everywhere. You'd think there were two Dana Bidwars on the field. That hit on to Marty was solid. And the Stingrays now. Jericho York. He's tough. Obviously, most of the supporters here in Tamarau are from the county's Manukau Stingrays. Good chase, climb, skill. And that was deadly. That was Travell Gardner-Hunnell. I think he scored a hat-trick, didn't he, when we watched him down at Davies Park?
He did, yeah.
Well, this time through caution to the wind. And you've got to be a little bit careful. I love seeing commitment, but, that was put himself in a dangerous position.
Yeah, it's always hard because obviously you don't want to take your eyes off the ball. So, for Gardner-Hunnell, he doesn't expect anything else. It's a little bit unfortunate as well for Sang Yong because, while it's the same situation, you've only really got eyes for the ball. You can't really see attackers who are coming at you. I saw one last night, I think, in one of the rugby league games, and it was very similar. It's sort of really hard to actually see where the chases are coming from. Sometimes the collision is just unavoidable.
Yeah, as supporters and viewers, though, you always expect the attacking team to show commitment and challenge for the high ball. That was brilliantly taken too by Travell as the ball goes down, and that's a disappointing conclusion to the set. It's a fundamental error, and that can happen, but you do want them to climb high. When I was talking with Rob Taingahui, he was saying that they really like Travell's style, strong kid, and they sort of liken his style of play to that of Steve Matai, which was 100% bit of a hitman, and that time showed great commitment. Pleased to have him still on the field, though. It was sort of dangerous as it turned out. It's going to be fed here by Frank Banini. So the wind, we're nearly, we're over halfway through this first half. It's a break down the right-hand side, and the runner there is going to make it easier. Pressure, up the inside they go. Counties Manukau on the hot stepping, and there is the good finish. It's Tariki Ford, who is in to score under the post with the bust down the right edge. Plenty of support, and young Tariki was right in spot. Had to step the last defender, but was able to take it through, and another fine try scored by the Stingrays.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll get another replay of this, but it's big and strong, good footwork, one right foot step, got past his man, and was on the back of a nice quick play the ball. I was just about to mention that the Upper Central Zone will need to slow those play the balls down if they're to try and gain an advantage on D, and then in that case they were still on the back foot. So a fantastic run by the centre and finished off well by Tauriki Ford.
Well, he's been a dominant half, according to his coach. Of course, the squad, they had a trial just in February. It was an open trial. About 45 youngsters turned up. And we just await this conversion. He was unsuccessful with the last one, was from pretty close range. So he'll be wanting to put the icing on the cake here, considering that he scored the try. And let's have a look at these footy men in flight. Now this is a top-class run, isn't it? Top draw. Looming up on the outside, doing just what a winger should do, was Timmy Tiatia. But then they opted to come back on the inside to the halfback, who does an excellent job to finish off.
He's got Red Harrell style about it, doesn't he, Penny? Out there on the right edge. Number 3 for Counties Manukau Stingrays. Big, strong, good footwork, imposing figure. It's going to be hard to stop. I'm sure they'll go back to that side throughout this game.
Yeah, well, he's been running this Nualingi Penny, the two brothers, of course, in the squad. Ben's in the forwards in the front row. But Nualingi comes with good raps again, another out of the proud Lipids club. And he's played his junior footy right through all the county's Manukau grades. And a little mistake there by number 15, Madison Tekau. And a chance here for the Stallions, perhaps to get some possession and to bounce back well. The hand got there pretty quickly, didn't it?
Well, that's pretty much exactly how you need to defend as a marker. Just step forward into the path of the hooker there. It was pretty easy for Ngamotu Tahana. That's Te Wano, his first name is.
So this is
take down the hooker.
Raven Fetu, who will feed the scrum. Dana Bidwar gets it off the back. And he's not going to get far too, because the Stingrays recognise that he is a danger man. We're all over him. Like a as we see Paikatanga Hui lining it up here. This is Te Wano Ngamotu Tahana. He has the ball. The wind is against him. 2 tries to 1. 35-minute halves played here in the Ruben Wiki Cup. But getting themselves set for a good tilt at the line. Once again, the early try scorer, Rawiri Matthews, to his feet. Paikatanga Hui loads up and sends Ngamotu Tahana once again into the fray. But the Stingrays are equal to the challenge. It's Bidwar, first receiver, runner on the inside, short ball. And that has been lost, sadly, for the Stallions. And the Stingrays, once again, get a chance to work away from their defensive end. And another chance goes begging for the Stallions, who had to fight hard to get into strike range.
Yeah, I think he might have just got stripped there, one-on-one. It was a nice ball from Dana Bidwar. Get his man one-on-one, but ultimately the result was a quick strip from the big man. So easy out there for Counties Manukau as they work their way up the field.
So Madison Tekau's taking up the dummy half. This is a great run down the right-hand side for Tiatia. That's the sort of commitment that you want to see, and it's inspired his teammates to try to push the receiver of the football towards the touchline on the far side of the field. Wind is a significant issue here, and it is at the backs of Counties Manukau. You think that it would be maybe a 6 or 10 point wind, could even be stronger than that. So they've got to stay with the Stingrays at the moment. This is Rawakata Ngamotu Tahana, who plays the ball, and through the centre they try to work some magic. Wide they come, the Stallions. They've been impressive at times too, as Matthews gets thrown towards touch. But I think he stays in only by the barest margin. That was good thinking too. Consensus teammates were under pressure. So Tamari opts to take the tackle. Now they're thinking of the kick, but floating the pass out to Matthews down the right edge. A kick's needed here. Off the left boot as well. The bounce important. Fullback take Yom. He'll be called back and asked to play the ball.
Yeah, well, despite being heavily restricted in their own half, it turned out to be pretty good, that last play. The last play run option was definitely a good. It's definitely a good. Let me see again. There's his 5th tackle here. Nice little short ball. They had numbers down there. A little bit short with the County Manukau Stingrays. So left foot kick here went all over the place, and luckily the chase was good as well.
Well, there's an injury down at the other end of the track, and that's what the hold-up is about. It's great to have watched Rochelle Tamurua's career unfold over the years. She was, really a great young referee. As she has matured, so has her responsibilities, quality she's been able to improved. She's run touchline, I'm pretty sure, for NRL, but it'd be great to see her getting higher honours. She is a referee that commands the respect of players, that she controls. And she's to many women who want to take up the whistle. Certainly there's no place to see the game. I mean, we get a pretty good seat in the house too as commentators, but when you got the whistle, you really get a feel for the game. You had opportunities to do much yourself refereeing there, Wally?
No, I haven't at all. Actually, I did think about it, and I remember early on in Henry Perenada's career as a referee, him speaking to me about the opportunities of being a referee at higher levels. He had like you say, it was a fantastic place to actually watch and see the game unfold, and the money was pretty good. But no, I never ventured into it. I mean, look, I'm a person who can't be not liked by people, and in one instance, every weekend you weren't going to be liked by one group of people, and it was too much for me not to handle, my friend.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same, although I'm sure you've had plenty of footballers who didn't like you along the way. Why don't you?
That's a little bit different. I didn't mind those people not liking me, especially if I got to win a rugby league game.
I did coach some of our kids' games when they were young, and you couldn't help but, referee is what I'm getting at, refereed some of the kids' games. But you couldn't both sides, because, you want the youngsters to learn, and so, okay, mate, it's your turn, hit it up, good tackle. Yep. I was going like that. Yeah. And, of course, the parents on the sideline, well, they didn't like you when you made a call against their young squad, did they? Number 11, out onto the track here, that's Taylor Papali'i. Taylor is out of Otala. He's played every position. Next, he's likely to be playing in the halves, according to the coach. That's been an intriguing battle, hasn't it? And at this stage, the Stallions are keeping themselves well and truly in the hunt with some committed defence. Now that's a good run. That is a good meter eater. Just needs a quick play of the ball to capitalise on it. Carl Taylor fits to his feet. Out wide, backdoor work at the moment here for the Stingrays. Some committed defence. Jericho York is getting himself involved. It's in the number 11 for the Stallions. That ball has gone. As we see, another charge down. This time secured nicely by Rawiri Matthews. And Tariki Ford was looking to put it up. And he sensed the opportunity, Matthews, and now possession, pop pass at the Baker Tainga Hui. This is Ngamututana. Big unit. Up here by Anthony Ngai Toko. They want to keep their heads here and possession, get deep into the set. See if they can't utilise it with a kick and a good chase. Slade Baker Tainga Hui, just what the doctor ordered here for the Stallions.
Yes, indeed. That'll help a little bit. They'll look to build pressure, hopefully, here on the next set.
28 minutes gone. 3 tries scored, 1 to Matthews after 5 minutes, and then 2 to the Stingrays through Proctor and Ford. And now, the Suns coach, this is Slade. That's his brother with the ball. Out to Bidwar. Now it's on to York. Good play here from the Stallions. There's the 10-metre line. The wind, as you can see, favouring the Stingrays. But can they charge into it and score a try before the time break? Bidwar now sets loose. Ngamututana. He can't find his way through. Shoring up the D for the Stingrays. But they're a good chance. Out wide, it's the skipper first hand. And then out to Mitchell Windsor. He's wrapped up only 5 metres out from the try line. It's still a hot chance here for the Stallions. Can they capitalise on it? Against Bidwar. Then through Fetu. Fetu, the end goal and a good chase. But it's been pushed dead. It's been pushed dead, and so we will restart from underneath the crossbar. But Raven Fetu was screaming at it and gave himself every chance. It was desperate by the Stingrays to avoid having a 4-point scored against them.
Yes, indeed. That lovely little kick, well weighted. It's a relatively short end goal. He did a fantastic job there. A little bit of depth on that attack will help them out a little bit. Dana Bidwire's sort of doing a good job of just shuffling it on and finding runners back up the middle, but just a little bit more movement, a few more questions being asked of the defensive line.
Out of dummy half, Baker Taingahoe, head up time for Austin, James Austin. At the 20 to go. Bidwire, this man's big, attracts 3-4 defenders. Slade. Can't put him to the ground. His brother gets hold of the ball, and again the skipper keeps it alive through forward. This is good play from the Stallions. They might have lost it though. They have. Nobody Matthews, they were so close and in position, but in the end they'll be forced to turn the ball over with just over 5 to play here in the first half of an intriguing battle here in the Ruben Wiki Cup. Hope you're enjoying the action here on Sky Sport. It's our under-20s early in the season. A lot of these guys are going to play in Prem footy. And of course that starts opening up now, as Walagi said, that we're freed up to allow crowds back, sporting events. A scrum feed here for the Counties Monaco Stingrays. And it will be Taraniki Ford who feeds the scrum. I just want to play a conservative hand here. They haven't had a lot of possession in the last 5 or 7 minutes. I want to make the most of it, although as we have seen through the course of the first half, they're pretty good at punching holes and going long range, as we see exactly that. Lelefi Sanyom, look at him with his head back. Oh, that's elegant. That is smooth. Oh, smooth as a baby's bum, but that guy, he's put one in and he's danced his way downfield and scored underneath the crossbar.
Yeah, really loose through the middle of the upper central zone. I just thought to myself, here's an opportunity now for the upper central zone to try and put some Counties down their own half, but there was just some big holes, a real quick play of the ball. The A defenders were too wide. Sang-Yum did a fantastic job through the middle there, just too quick in the end. Swerved away from the opposite fullback. Jack Tufala. That was a fantastic try. Some 2 really good long-range tries in this first half.
Well, he was good last week too in the draw with Akalana, but look at that. We touched on the fact that they've already shown that they're able to bust through, and a beautiful run there from young Lafalu. Had an elegant swerve and really looked good on the fly, didn't he, the kid? Good stuff. And looking to add the edges here now is Ford. And this should be a gimme. It's 14 sacks, make that a 10-point lead. We're just on 4 to play in the first half. 16 points to 6. This is the Ruben Wiki Cup. And that was a little piece of magic.
Yes, indeed. Just nice quick play. The ball was after a good, strong run. They've been hard on deep. And then to have the first couple of runs pretty imposing and then get a quick player like that into dummy half, chew up some meters, and he just found a gaping hole through the middle.
Really tough for defending fullbacks to cover that. Tufala did his best, but he just he seemed to have a whole lot of momentum behind him. The wind at his back.
Yeah, he was just too far away, really, wasn't he?
Way too far. Way too far. Hey, listen here. Leave the jokes to me. Yeah? Mine are pretty stink anyway. But yours was more stink than mine. That's what I'm going to have to say. Okay. Well, listen, what has to happen here is this team in the black, the Stallions, they need to make sure they concede another try. The wind will be at their backs on the turnaround, but if they concede another try, it's going to make it real tough for them. So to shore up their D, and at the moment, that's what they are. Down the right-hand side come the Stingrays, full of confidence now. They know they can make long-range tries. They just need to punch a hole, and their fast men are looking to do just that. Here's another effort. There's a runner on the inside. Pass is sick, and the try is Superb. Beautiful work. It's Madison Tekel who's in to score, and the Stingrays are really starting to sting the Stallions.
Yeah, can't wait for the halftime the upper central zone at the moment. These Monaco Stingrays, they're really building in confidence. I just thought to myself that they're getting just a little bit regularly through the middle there, the upper central zone, and while the enthusiasm is there, I mean, like their coach said before the game, the cohesion at the moment is just a little bit off. They really need to tighten up, especially through that middle. They need to work a little bit harder in the ruck and the wrestle to try and slow down the opposition who's true of playing the ball, and then gives themselves a much better opportunity of giving a straight, more solid defensive line.
Well, hats off to the support play, though, on both occasions. In fact, on all of those long-range breaks, there's been runners down the right-hand side. I've been particularly impressed with Tiatia's willingness to provide an option down the right, but the inside ball there to Madison Tekel was right on target and finished it off in a most wonderful way. Madison, coach says, look at what I like about Madison, he's very aggressive. He too from the Leopards, but he runs good lines, runs straight, and that pass was also a top class effort, and making it look not easy, but certainly good to watch. 22-6 the scoreline here, round of the Ruben Wiki Cup, and the Stingrays maybe a bit of a sluggish start, but they've really hit their straps here late in the first half, and half a middle or so until the hooter.
He knew it wasn't going to be too long before they hit the groove, and like we said, after the first 7 minutes they hadn't touched the ball really, so upper central zone there, it's some heavy contact there. It just bounces out of it. That's Carlos Tarafiti. He doesn't mind the contact. We see those markers are going to have to be strong, because Counties at the moment just carving them up through the middle.
Yeah, well, the acting halves, ones who've been creating the opportunities, and again full of running. Mid-air goosies, there's all sorts going on out there at the moment as the confidence levels through the roof at the moment. There's the hooter on the halfway line, and that was a really good half of footy. It was at the end really where the Stingrays took control, but at half time here they are well in control as we go to the break here from Waitakere Stadium, round 3 of the Ruben Wiki Cup, and it's the Stingrays who lead the Stallions 22-6.
An England side on the rebuild.
Brilliant!
Face the mercurial Windies.
Magnificent shot.
In 3 tests. England Tour of the West Indies. Live, Sky Sport.
Tomorrow's champions are inspired by today's, but they can only be what they can see. That's why Sky brings you more strength, more skill, more speed, more courage.
Oh my goodness.
And not just on the pitch, you'll see it behind the scenes, in front of the camera, and all over the game plan.
This is what we've been waiting for.
See the rise. See the potential. See history being made. See the possible.
I'd like you to call me Miss Franklin.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take care to see me.
Respect. Sunday, Sky Movies premiere.
Their story is a collision of passion and precision. They are sacrifice and heart. The block you can't get past. They put the pride in power, force in fierce, make the real unreal, and the league theirs.
Kia ora noa. Well, there's the Stallions just going through what they need to do in the second half. They'll have the wind at their backs, but they've got a 4-try-to-1 deficit to overcome at the moment, 22 points to 6. They had a glut of possession early on in the game and certainly scored the first try after about 5 or 6 minutes, but then it was 4 neat tries who came back from the Stingrays. Let's have a look at try number 1, and it came off, as I say, some solid possession, and Rawiri Matthews onto a ball described a little as being a bit dubious, but referee Tamarua says, well, that's okay by me, and that was converted. One of those push through from Proctor, who had a good first half as well. It was close range, easy pickings for the talented half.
Yes, indeed. And then they started opening up a little bit more confidence. They got a bit more possession at the Counties boys, and this was a fantastic run from Penny, the centre, back on the inside to his half, and they crossed over for their second one.
This next try was one of pure class from a fullback who spotted an opportunity and he just let rip. And doesn't he look gliding across the field? This is Lelefu Sang-Yum, and looking forward to seeing more work of that nature in his career going forward. Gee, he looked really good and made it look easy. But it certainly, he picked his moment and pulled the defences from the Stallions. This was also another nicely set up run and try, good backing up by Tekau, and he scores just before the half-time break at 22 points to 6. So there's work to be done here, but certainly if they can score early in the second half, they'll get themselves back into the game. But their D is going to be what's most important. Hope you're enjoying the action. This is round 3 of the Ruben Wiki Cup, and you're watching it here on Sky Sport. Well, for the second half is just around the bend.
Season. Watch the Hungry Jacks NBL take it to the next level.
Well, still in the here at Waitakere Stadium out of West Auckland. Kia ora and welcome back. This is Sky Sport and this is Ruben Wiki Cup, round 3, 4 tries to 1, and they're in a huddle. There's been some solid work been put in here, speaking with their coach, Rob Tainga. Remember, it's been difficult for them, and with the weather challenges across the country for much of the past week, the chance to get together and train was curtailed. But what we can't doubt is the heart and commitment that these young guys are showing. Many of them come from rugby backgrounds, and some are playing in club footy, but obviously across the last couple of years, not a real good chance to hone their skills and to be on the top of their game. Well, no, this is a good chance for them to get some work in and to showcase their abilities, like that young man who he'll get that show reel and be able to show it to prospective coaches going forward and saying, well, they don't call me Wheels for nothing.
Yeah, fantastic for that first half. He was got that charge down as well early in the first half, which could have resulted in a try, which meant he had 2 in that first half. So yeah, he's got a lot of skill, as do a lot of these boys in this county's Manukau Stingray side. And same with the Upper Central. It's some very good individuals. Once they can get it together as a team, they'll be fantastic.
So we're underway again, and this ball is going to fall awkwardly and very nearly ended up in the hands of a Stingray. Not that Stingrays have hands, but you get the drift. Down the right side we go, and again, this time around it's the Stats, which you've been, I guess, in parts of your life, Wairangi.
A stallion? Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed, he says. Certainly not a Gelding. I've got a bit of an injury here.
Sure who that is, but yeah, just penalty, holding down too long there. But you're right, that wind behind Upper Central there just held that ball up in the wind. Can be something that they have to be mindful of.
Were you ever a Cougar?
I actually can't remember if I was a Cougar or not, to be honest. I think I might have been.
With Joey Gwynn in the It's going back some time, though, isn't it?
I think it might have been a bit young.
The Waikato Cougars, part of the Bartercard Cup.
My memory back then my memory around those years isn't the best.
Well, interesting. Remember being a stallion, but not a cougar. Well, anyway, we'll leave that there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, not necessarily. I didn't play as a stallion, but I have been a stallion in my time.
Yes, thank you. The mind boggles. Why? Hey, down the right-hand side, Baker Tangahui. Hey, they've got the ball and they're in good field position. This is Jamie Austin. He's only 21 metres out from the try line. I've been impressed too from Hamiura's work. Through the hands it comes here as Fetu, and so look, he tries under the defender, it rolls him over. That's Jeremiah Tamatimu in 17. Need to score first. The skipper, Bidwa, now through Mitchell Wizza. This is clear to kick the right one. Well, it turns out perhaps not. Struggling on his feet, and in the end, Katsangamotu Tahana does very well. Up the middle come the Stingrays. Good D from Matthews. I just wonder if the play through the hands might have been more beneficial for the Stars, as again we see Sang Yum.
Yeah, and at the moment, a lot of the upper central zone, a lot of their attack is a little bit far back from the defensive line, sort of just going through the motions in terms of their attack, and it's not really asking many questions. As we see, here's a great chase from Counties. He's done a heck of a job there.
Well, I'd be a bit disappointed there, Anthony Naitoko, although the fullback took a hit. That's Tufala, and looks like it's a shoulder. Nice sportsmanship on display. Let's have another look at this, and your thoughts, please, Wairangi.
Well, first of all, the two chases, they're about 3 metres offside.
And he was slightly in the air too, wasn't he, the fullback?
He did. He was under a lot of pressure to follow. He was brave, his efforts, but yes, looks like he's picked up collarbone or shoulder, unfortunately.
Oh, it's a tough game, mate. I'm pleased. At first I thought it might have been a concussion. Yeah, that's pretty dangerous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would probably more the impact of hitting the ground. It's that left shoulder that hit the ground first that looks like the one that's in a bit of trouble. And I know shoulder injuries. There's a lot of mechanics in the shoulder. And there's a lot of things that can be injured.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, there was a heat on, wasn't there, on the halftime hooter? I'm hoping that there's no sort of thinking of payback coming in here. I mean, that was some committed chasing. There were 2 on it, though. And he was slightly off the ground, also because of the bounce of the ball. And pleasingly, he's to his feet now, Tufala. Okay, we're about to get underway again.
Yeah, well, a little bit of a reshuffle now. As Tufala goes off the field for a spell. Not sure who will go to fullback for Rob Taingahui.
Yeah, I think he's only got one back on the bench. We'll wait and see. Slade, he is a big guy. James Austin's forward. Have you seen much of Hathaway yet? We'll follow the action closely. It is Counties Monaco who have possession of the football. Some of their jersey numbers from a distance a little hard to pick up too, because they're whitened with the white hoops and the like. This is Metea Saulala, and he'll be called back. Looks like they're just setting things themselves here, the Stingrays. Watch out for the play from the dummy half, but the door is opening slightly, and that's an injury for Rewiti Brown, who comes up second best. He's looking a bit dusty on it all, Rewiti at the moment.
Yeah, it's Ngamotu Tahana, who picked up a cut in the first half. He's gone to the back for upper central zone, and yeah, just a little bit scrappy in there.
That's Madison to score a nice try just before the hard time break. Madison and they will be disappointed if they concede an easy try. 17 is Tamatimu, but they're certainly in good field position and looking dangerous. Now that's a strange play, wasn't it? It came off of a teammate, and then fielding it was Sang Yung, who ended up getting a little injured as he hit the deck.
Yeah, that was Gillett who made a play at that ball, but Sang Yung, who took the ball and then just got absolutely sniped.
So that's a gas and a low to the ground. Let me see who's credited with it. They all seem to be congratulating this bloke in the headgear.
Again? No, that is Timai. Cedric Timai?
Cedric Timai, thank you, Waitangi, with the Marlins. Played both reserves and prems last year, but he's been in the system, like the county's Manukau system, Cedric, since he was about 13. So they identify a lot of these guys early, invite them to trial. Well, that was an open trial, admittedly. The blokes ended up in the squad who came from nowhere, seemingly, but Cedric was in the right spot and first to score early here, second half.
Yeah, real nice setup for that play. 2 head runners hard at the line. The ball has to be a little bit high, opened up Cedric a little bit. But if somebody jammed in on him, it was going to be very difficult to catch that ball, but did a great job. Good pace.
Now, a reminder from home last week, you watched against the South Island, and you were saying that the score ballooned out a little bit for the Stallions late game, but it probably didn't reflect well enough on the commitment they've shown as we get another look at Cedric Timai's try. At the moment, of course, the scoreline starting to balloon again. I guess many of our league followers, and one thing about leagues, they do like to support the underdogs. Yeah. And we're hoping in a way that it would be the Stallions who'd score early in the second half. Well, they had their chance down the other end, but allowed the Stingrays to get good field position and to capitalise from it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, much like this, the score and the way that these boys played don't really reflect on how difficult it is for them to be able to come together. Like you say, you know, they come. Some of them come from a rugby code, so to actually, you know, find cohesion as a squad, you know, in 3 games, nonetheless, is really tough. And while the enthusiasm is definitely there, it's just little things. It's execution sometimes. It's I suppose just knowing structure and game plans and the like, and you know, putting that all together against a team like sort of Counties or South Island, who have been well established for years. You know, it's very difficult.
Mr. Show, well, he might have made a couple of blues, but he's also put on some dazzling runs, hasn't he, Ford? And he set the stage here. And now the actors are lining up to play their part as we see a spinning effort from Proctor. Out wide we come again, and it's desperate defence for Jericho York to shut down the charging Stingrays 12 metres out. And again down the left side they come. They're looking and trying everything at the moment, even a chip over the top. There's a bit of class, all right, in the way that they've been approaching this. And that's Pesali Ma, who will score down the left edge. And they're really showing their array of talents at the moment, the Stingrays, and making every post a winner with the pill.
Yeah, it may have not been needed. That little chip probably just going through the hands would have did the job, as Upper Central Zone were backpedaling hard around their own try line. But yeah, nice, classy little play there. Wingers love to catch little chip balls like that and again, show their skills, what they've been working on through the week.
Sure. Well, we just touched on, didn't it? A lot of these guys would have played against each other in grade footy. Know each other well. From the suburbs next to each other, so they're able to train together. Say this was also on through the hands, but hey, we'll just show another side of what we got. And are we saying now, you're looking at that, Akarana? You're looking at that Southside Island. So they're always a force to be reckoned with, Counties Manukau. It wasn't so long ago that they were made into a zone in their own right, because Auckland Rugby League used to, have a catchment that went right down to Pukekohe. Hey, so now there's a bit of a demarcation line. So I think it runs through Otahu, maybe across to Howick, and those south of there are eligible for this new franchise of Counties Manukau. But certainly we've got a lot of good sports people coming out of that rohe, that region. And we're seeing a lot of them in action here today. So here comes Tariki Ford.
Yeah, well, the talent is definitely there to warrant having those two teams and giving as many players as possible an opportunity of playing in this level of rugby league. I think it is necessary, and also provides a little bit of balance throughout the country, throughout the rep footy competitions. So we see that try again. Good footwork. Either winger. Here's the man who started, Tauriki Fox. He was the one who made the break up the middle, all the pressure on to try and defend their line. He's been good today.
He sure has. Of course, Pisili Ma, I think he came to the open trial. He's a new guy, according to the coach. Scored a runaway last week as well. So just showing that he is good enough and he's enjoying his footy. Hope to enjoying the action, even though the scoreline now is getting a little one-sided. Remember, 35-minute halves, so there's still plenty of footy to go here. Let's hope that the Stallions don't sort of lose the will. Otherwise, they'll get steamrolled here by the Stingray. Back up, says referee. Tamarua.
They had very little ball, the Stallions, in the last 10 minutes. Only one attacking set. And put that little kick through, and then since then they've barely touched the ball. So just looking for an opportunity now as we see the confidence on the county side. Look at the chase from early kick. Try and keep the opposition down. Put some pressure on them. It's going to be 2-3 tackles before those big boys get behind to play the ball.
Yeah, and the work now. This is Aratika Gillette. Apologies if it's Gillette. I remember making a mistake with calling Anthony Gelling, and got this rather irate email from his connections, thinking I was being disrespectful. I wasn't. Yeah. Just assumed it was Gillette, and his name's Gillette.
Yeah.
But then again, we try hard to get our Māori and Pacifica names right.
Yes,
it's the English ones we can struggle with sometimes. Going that young fellow, he went over to England, huh?
Gelling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's back in New Zealand now. Not too sure exactly if he's playing or not. I know the Fox Memorial competition is looking to start at the end of May.
I was watching a little bit of Monty's show. Once a Warrior, I think it's called.
Yep.
Has he interviewed you yet?
No, he hasn't. No.
Monty, come on now. Bell House. Oh, here we go. That ball's gone down. A chance for the Stallions to get it, but a little double knock on. Yeah, I was watching before the Warriors game yesterday. I was interviewing Big Mark Tukey, although Big Mark Tukey's not big anymore.
It's Little Tukes now, isn't he?
Little Tukes.
Yeah.
Huh?
He must, well, he always struggled to fit in his minis that he had when he was playing rugby league here in New Zealand and Parramatta and the like, and maybe he just needed an excuse to fit in them a little bit better.
Well, listen, how come Monty's got a show, Benji's got a show, and there's no why?
It's a good question, mate.
Okay, yeah. Who should we direct the question at?
It's probably, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, really.
It's a lawsuit.
Tackle one, just too close to the sideline there. Unfortunately for the upper central zone, they're trying their best and trying to come up with some options, but just able to build pressure.
Yeah, well, that crossfield effort there with the big number 11, Taylor Papali'i, obviously problematic. I picked it at maybe a 10-point wind, but they've taken full advantage. Again, 2 more tries since the half-time break, where it was 22-6. short side effort here. They've had to do a lot of defending as well, the Stallions. Ford. Henele Luani is the carrier of the football onto the 30-metre line, and now they're starting to build some momentum again. Little dummy, and he's skillful on his feet. Been pinged for a high shot, and eventually he was too. Just a lazy effort, and he gets up and acknowledges that it wasn't his best. That's Kanu Watson Toto. High tackle. Janta has the ball 12 metres away from the try line. Big unit on a good charge too. Ben Penny to his feet. This will be straightforward, I think, and there is score. Just too hard to defend. And from close range, Counties Monaco again. And that's either a girlfriend or a sister, I think, in the stands. You can hear her from long range. And 2 for Henele Luani, who's in to score.
Yeah, just too. Yeah, it's just too big, too strong. They're close to the line. They're running in pairs. That hooker just gets to pick either the front runner or the second runner. And it's that second runner that's causing all the trouble for the defence of the upper central zone.
So Luani is into score. He was injured last week, but he's been in that Stingray system for some time. Also has played in the New Zealand Residents, I believe. So he's a player of some class and potential, and looking to add the extras once again. There's the Māngere East half, Ford. The ground out here in West Auckland. Is this one coming around? No, it doesn't. It's the cow horns. You won't be too happy about that. Could really have thrown it over from that range, you'd have to think. But as it turns out, it doesn't look like the 2 points are going to determine the outcome of the game. Let's get another look. The big fella's set-up run. This is Penny. Nice work from Proctor. And then pretty straightforward in the end for Henele Luani.
Yeah, really tough when you've got big men who find their front, who get up and play the ball really quickly, and on the back of it you've got another big man who's charging at you. Try and get some ascendancy against some big prop forwards like that is always going to be tough when you're backpedaling.
Well, nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. That's how the song goes. Big ups to all of our connections around the country who've been following this tournament and indeed participating in. I just want to also acknowledge the Central Zone, who were last year's under-20s champion. Sadly for them, COVID meant that they were unable to pull their team together in time with enough training and enough administrative support to make it a reality this year. So it was a late withdrawal from the comp. We also had the Northern Swords in last year, you recall, as well. So again, I think it's just an example of havoc that this ngangara or pandemic has had on sport in NZ.
Yeah, and most likely will continue to have on teams as we go forward. Obviously, with the idea of keeping as many people safe as possible. People are going to be affected at some stage with COVID in their sides and having to change players and the like. So it's going to be interesting to see, while we've got a little bit more freedom back, a bit more sport, there's a bit more flexibility in terms of what we can do and what's actually possible. When it comes to people being sick, it's a little bit of a different story.
It's a great resource for the people of West Auckland, this ground and the stadium above it. A bit of a sporting mecca for the Westies. And as you can see, some kids in the background enjoying the park-like surrounds as well. Well, but as sports enthusiasts and fans, love to see now the Stallions get across the line. Baker Tainga Hue. This is the big man who comes forward with it. Watson Dodo. He's only 5 away. Here's a good chance here for the boys who've travelled north for today's game. Out to the prop forward, Rarity Brown puts his arms up and thinks about popping the pass. In the end, to ground he goes. Tangahui out to the right-hand side, looking for the grubber kick to the end goal. Instead, it ends up in the hands of young Timothy Tiatia.
Yeah, straight into his hands, that little chip.
Well, they haven't given up. That's good to see here from the Stallions. Good feet on display, but then running into a brick wall of Brown. On the far side of the field and falling rather awkwardly that time was it maybe the fullback there. There's a kick. Sits up. Nicely taken. This is Travell, Gardner Hunnell.
Yeah, had a bit of a rearrange with their fullbacks as we see the ball come loose. We did have Ngamotu Tahana at the back then. He went off injured as well, so they're on their third string fullback. Definitely some hands in there.
Yeah. That's pretty solid D as well too. I mean, showing some commitment on the charge, but in the end, well, just too many of them really, of those Stingrays players. Can be Tiatia. A number of these guys have had connections with James Cook High School actually. Well, and this is beautiful. Smooth running, lovely offload. Down the right-hand side to finish off. And a somersault to boot as well. Try scored by Pisani Ma once again. It's the athletics track, but really hats off to Ford. Spotted the opportunity and really delivered it up on a plate really for the winger, did Ford. And Ma had just to run it in to secure the 4-pointer out wide.
Great ball movement, great execution, good depth on that back run, the tail run. And just a drawn pass really in the end to his winger Ma, who went over in the corner. Really good execution. It was probably maybe the best attacking play they've had really in terms of depth and timing.
Well, that's how you train as a youngster, isn't it? To be set deep and giving yourself options. A lot of football now is played at a much more shallow approach. And yeah, that classy. Old school try, you'd have to say, Ewarangi.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, those front runners are definitely shallow. There's the option there of hitting those ones, which is where the indecisiveness comes from in a defensive line. Having to pick between a player that's running through on a hard in-line and then a player back.
So here's one of the best today. We've been singing his praises too. He looks good in flight. Let's see if he can make the ball look good in flight as well. He's right on the chalk out wide. This will be a wonderful conversion if Lelefu Sangyom is able to slot it. He's got a few skills. Is that another one we can lay claim to? It's off the cow horn and in for two. Well, I tell you what, I don't think he'll have to do the dishes tonight, that bloke.
Yeah, there he is again. It was actually Sangyom who delivered the pass to Dariki Ford. It's really well timed. Yeah, he's got definitely got some skill. And his first one there for the hug as well, which is even better.
Yeah, it's pretty sure. I think that he's one to look out for with Otahu this year. That's why I love to get down and support the boys every now and then. I like all rugby league though. I haven't really got a preference club-wise. I just like watching rugby league. But yep. I like to get down to the local park. I hope you do too. Those of you watching today will be interested in the development of young footballers and athletes. But it all starts in park footy. And sometimes I guess we're exposed to professional sport. You can get a glut of it on our TVs. But I think the most fun really is down at your local footy ground, supporting your club team. In Waitanga's case, it's Taniwharau. You really enjoy that down-home feel of local footy, don't you, Wayne?
Yeah, that community feel of die-hard rugby league supporters. The history that they have down there is, it's a really good way to, not amongst, not just with Taniwharau, but within that whole competition. Tūranga Wairangi, same as we see.
There we go again. Well, they're coming thick and fast now. This is Ma once again, who looks good, but how about the run from Jani Proctor, weaving and sliding away from defenders, almost dancing like Fred Astaire. And I know some of you young people will be saying, well, who the hell was Fred Astaire? Huh? Dancing like...
Is it Dancing in the Rain? Is that Fred Astaire?
You better believe it. Yeah. You better believe it. Singing in the Rain, actually.
Singing in the Rain, yes.
Yeah. Any chance of a couple of bars?
I mean, after this, yeah, for sure.
Musical bars.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
Musical bars.
I was going to say, I'm going to the bars anyway after
got
this.
One-track mind, you. Yeah, it's the old Singing in the Rain. Well, this guy's getting a real workout today. Oh, looking at the century, which is neat for but a little bit disappointing though for their opponents today, because they've worked hard and they in many ways didn't deserve to see a scoreline of that nature. So a double to Ma in quick succession.
Yeah, well, they've just really grown in confidence as the second half has gone on. Once they sort of found their groove a little bit in the first half, all the opportunities and their decision making has got better and better as the game's got on. Obviously, once confidence grew, everybody wants to get their hands on the ball and charge forward and give themselves the best opportunity of racking up a good score as possible. So,
well, the big scoreline could be helpful too, because they play each other once, and then the top two teams line up in the final. So this goes good for your for and against, doesn't it, a scoreline like this?
Yeah, especially when you consider the Akarana side and also the South Island side of the pretty strong.
Ben Penny, he was real good too in the Pacifica Youth Cup. It's just real hard to contain the big guy. Of course, his brother Lingy is playing out wide, and the referee wants to call a player out. Maybe there's been a bit of niggle or something. What's that? Your cap been called out? Well, there's nothing much in that.
Yeah,
on the head. Yeah. A bit of work upstairs. And Penny took exception, and fair enough too.
Did somebody get a bit? After clarification, if somebody got sent to the bin, then we heard some cheers in the background.
See the decision of whether one has been sent to the bin. Will be another advantage on the 40-metre line. The red and white, while they are steamrolling to success here, there's still 9 minutes to play, and there's plenty of tries left here as Ben Penny once again. Lovely little offload. That ball's finally gone to ground, so we'll have I'll set the scrum. Jacob Holloman, as that came across from his prop forward partner. Another little flick back. There's Jacob, and just maybe eye on the prize, looking ahead to the side. The women's game tomorrow. Just a slight change in timing. If you're enjoying the action, it was round one of the women's rugby league, and a big win for Counties Monaco today over Canterbury. Lavina and Jules are calling the action. They'll be back in the chair at lunchtime as well, 12 o'clock kickoff. And then Whiting and I will be teaming up once again for our second game of the weekend. It's South Island up against Waikato Mana, due for 2 p.m. kickoff tomorrow afternoon. Hope you can join us as Te Whangangamatu Tahana has the ball.
Yeah, big game for Waikato. They had the bye last weekend, so a good little break, but they have a big challenge up against a very strong South Island side.
Well, they were a bit disappointing in the first hit out. Last time we had a chance to call the action was against this Stallion squad. 30 points on them, I think, that day. And being pushed towards the sideline on the far side of the field. And unfortunately, even despite the work there of telling the Tamari, the Stallions attacking player couldn't stay on the field of play to turn over here. And 10 metres out from their own line, it's Matthews, in fact York, who has the ball, and you can see the D going in there from Banini to Manu and across the touchline of the far side of the field. Plenty of league action, of course, through the course of Super Saturday here. We'll let you know at the end of the game, the NRL games that are coming up. And news too that the Warriors will be coming home July 3. And they'll be up against the West Tigers. Let's hope that they've got a few wins under their belt and get a bumper crowd out there. It's been a long time out at Mount Smart, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years. 3 years since the boys have been home to play a game. Obviously, some of those boys have actually been to New Zealand, let alone Mount Smart Stadium. So it'd be good to welcome them home with obviously a big crowd. And now with the with no restrictions on crowd numbers as well, I'm sure we'll get a good turnout.
Ford launches it high, wide and handsome, and it's taken at the back here by Jamie Austin. Gets away from one. They're pretty gassed at the moment, the Upper Central Stallions. And of course those who maybe just joined in, you recall over the years there's been a Waikato Bay squad. They too have carried the name Stallions for this competition. Waikato have fielded their own squad. They're called Waikato Mana. So that's why the Stallions have maintained the game. Ford takes a hit there too, a solid one from Gillette. Dummy half work for Proctor. Hit up time, straight ahead. Always dangerous with the ball in hand. Madison to go. 5 from the line. Proctor pushes off one from underneath. I thought it was going to be Sang-Yum once again. Here's Deco. He has to go himself. I think he's held up. That's pretty good D too from close range from Baker Tangahui. And they'll ask him to back it out 10.
It's been a little while since I've seen a mousetrap. County's been up the mousetrap there. Obviously one dummy half going one way, the other one going the other way. Almost got there too.
Yeah, almost. It was interesting seeing Adam Reynolds talking about that audacious tunnel ball that he threw from dummy half to score a try from the Bronx last week. He says, well, I was copying you, Benji. You got these little things. Short kickoffs.
Yeah,
what's the trickiest thing you've seen in your career?
The trickiest?
You know, the trickiest try or play that you've seen. You're speaking
I
of
don't know.
mousetraps.
Yeah, I've seen a few tricky plays. I mean, obviously, I've seen some magic balls from the likes of Ali Lauchiti and Francis Melly and the like in terms of offloads. I think some of the trickiest ones I've seen were cheeky plays by the likes of PJ Marsh, who used to stand on people's hands when they got up to play the ball.
As you do.
Yeah.
Shane Cooper apparently one time hid the ball up his back in his jersey. You know. G'day, Shane. I know you'll be watching. Shane used to call footy with us too. He's a wonderful character, Shane Coops. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but anyway, you'd probably be sin-binned, wouldn't you?
I once somersaulted over a player to score a try.
Yeah, I think I would have seen that.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that was an awesome try. Did it
That
stick?
might have been a double somersault, to be honest.
It could have been, Yeah, could have been a double. And as you get older, it could probably end up a triple somersault. Why don't you? 50 points to 6. They've been pretty up all right, these Stingrays today. 22-6 at the halftime break, and then they've let rip. I don't think they're finished with yet. And they're full of running. That little offload. Now opening up the door. Here he is, Ford. V8 today. Oh, look at this. Crikey, Dex has got more steps than the Sky Tower. And he's back on the inside. They're not finished here. They're going to score here in a moment. Here's Ford again. Oh, yeah, too good. Like a Mustang, eh, Tariki?
Yeah, they
good
just
little offload.
Absolutely feet there, just completely gassed. Tariki Ford, he's just playing around with those defenders. Ran into the big shoulders. And obviously at this stage of the game with 3 minutes to go, you're just playing around with them. They're just struggling to get back on side. As we see, a little bit of footwork. Good ball out to the winger.
It's Tia. Timothy Tia. Well done. And Lefale gets the opportunity to kick into the trees. A nice setting here for footy. No doubt about that, but of course they've been behind the posts way too much for their own liking. The Stingrays with the opportunity to take it out to 56. But an entertaining game, no doubt about that though. A stack of tries, 4, 8, not great at maths, I think it might be 10-1. And this one is coming around, as you'd want it to. Big scoreline, but take nothing away here from the Stallions. Just a little outgunned here this afternoon. Well, that might be an understatement. You'll be at home saying, well, more than a little. But, you know, we haven't doubted their ticker. They just got outclassed, really, and outgassed. They've been on top of their game here this afternoon, 56 points to 6. And congratulations to the connections here. Like I say, tomorrow we bring in the action for the South Island against Waikato Mana. Kick off at about 2 p.m. The hooter will sound in a moment, but it's certainly been an impressive showing here for Sean Whitiangi's boys. And they'll be pretty pleased with the way that they've gone this week. 26 all last week against Akarana. I think they, those two Auckland-based squads will be a big chance to make the final. I don't want to speak too soon. It'll be disrespectful to the other teams in the comp. But this is a big scoreline here this afternoon. So some of the tries have been great. And they'll wrap that up and bring down the curtain on what's been an entertaining game of rugby league. And hats off to these Stallions guys. They've travelled today. It's been tough to pull the team together, but they've been here to add strength to the Rubiki Cup today. They're beaten by a big scoreline, but I think all rugby league fans will be mindful that they've shown a lot of character and courage in their approach to the game this afternoon. In the end, 2 strong counties, Manukau 56-6 here in Ruben Wiki Cup.
Hoping that we live long enough to say we fly, crushing all the walls, leaving what is wrong behind. 'Cause all we got is each other.
The road to Qatar is on Sky Sports 7, beIN Sports.
Well, Wairangi, some thoughts as they come together here. How whole whakaro?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, they started off a little bit rough, the Counties Manukau Stingrays side, but once they got it together and once they found a bit of fluidity, too hard to stop. And obviously the back of a few injuries for the Upper Central Zone, and then just lack of possession in the end, in the class shown by Counties Manukau, is also be very difficult to try and stop this Counties Manukau side. But yeah, good entertaining game of rugby league. Looking forward to seeing in the upcoming weeks how things unfold for both of these teams.
Well, we get a chance to hear from both captains, but you'd have to think with that whopping scoreline that the Counties Manukau Stingrays will be looking at heading to the top of the table. We'll get Jackson Holloway as the skipper of the Stingrays. Let's hear from him post-match.